One of the biggest advantages of high ticket dropshipping is the fact that it has such a high barrier of entry. Now, that might sound counterintuitive. You might think high barrier of entry means bad. Well, in e commerce, when it comes to a high barrier of entry, it usually means, or almost always means, lower competition. And that is exactly the case in high ticket dropshipping. And in this video, I'm going to talk about A, what makes high ticket dropshipping so difficult, and B, what is the actual competition level in high ticket dropshipping? Welcome back to the channel, everybody. If you are new, subscribe for the most honest and objective high ticket dropshipping content that you will find on YouTube. If you've watched the channel before, you can see I'm not in my usual setting. This is just my living room, and I just wanted to mix things up for the video. Not only that, we're about 2.5 weeks out from the birth of our first daughter, Brooklyn. And my very good friend, Chet Kaiser, gave me a bottle of 1942 Reposado Don Julio tequila. For those of you that don't know me, tequila is my first love when it comes to spirits. I'm not a big drinker, but I love my bourbon and I love my tequila. And this is a really good bottle. So shout out to Chet. And also, I'm celebrating 3,000 subscribers on my really tiny channel. And I've built this thing over the last couple of years, and it's been really cool to see where it's gone. So we're going to celebrate that. We're going to celebrate together here on this lovely Tuesday evening. So cheers to you guys. Cheers to Don Julio, and cheers to my friend Chet. But let's talk about the subject matter at hand. What makes high ticket dropshipping so difficult? Why is it such a high barrier of entry? And why does that lead to low competition? And what is that competition level realistically? Really, the main thing that makes high ticket dropshipping so difficult is the fact that you're partnering with real businesses. And in order to partner with them, you have to reach out to them and be proactive and actually put yourself out there and be the one that initiates that contact with them. And it's easier said than done. Yes, it is possible to do this just over email. I have a lot of people from outside of the United States that are doing this in the US that are non-native English speakers. I have people in the US that are native English speakers but are just not good communicators over the phone. And they ask me, is it possible to get suppliers over email? And the answer is yes. The problem is it's way easier to ignore an email. It's way easier to say no to someone that is emailing you than it is to say no or ignore somebody that you are speaking to on the phone. And so when it comes to actually landing those really marquee, those really high quality brands in your niche as a high ticket drop shipper, your chance of success over email is inherently way lower than it is over the phone. And so because of this, and set aside phone versus email, let's just say putting yourself out there, doing cold outreach in general. A lot of people are just now willing to do this. I would say 70% of people that are looking to start an online business are not willing to do this step of literally reaching out to somebody that doesn't know them when they have no experience, when they have no business experience to speak to, and asking if they can be a dealer for them. Frankly, the good news is the talk track when you're reaching out to suppliers really isn't all that complicated. You're just reaching out. You're not really trying to sell them anything. You're just trying to ask, what's the process of becoming a dealer for you? But that's neither here nor there. So that principle of high ticket drop shipping, the fact that you have to put yourself out there in order to convince these established companies to allow you to sell their products on their behalf, it's really difficult for a lot of people, and that inherently makes the competition so much lower than so many other e-commerce models. Now, let's talk about the reality of things, because when we're talking about 70% of people, that means 30% of people are willing to do it. Let's just talk about the United States. 30% of 340 million people. That's roughly a little over 100 million people. That's still a lot of people. Obviously, there not a third of the United States are looking to get into entrepreneurship, let alone start high ticket dropshipping. But this is just to demonstrate there are a lot of people in the world, and there are thousands, if not tens of thousands of people that are looking to start an e-commerce business that are entrepreneurially minded, and they're looking at these different models, including high ticket dropshipping. So let's talk about just how competitive high ticket dropshipping actually is. Well, when it comes to niche selection, that's kind of the biggest decider of how competitive high ticket dropshipping is going to be. All high ticket dropshipping is selling expensive products online, and dropshipping happens to be the method of order fulfillment. All you're doing is selling other brands' products, and they are shipping on your behalf to the customer that buys from you. Customer buys from you, you send a purchase order to the supplier, and supplier ships to the customer. You keep the difference in that sale. And that is the basic model of high ticket dropshipping. So what makes high ticket dropshipping more competitive in certain situations is when you choose a really bad and a really saturated niche. And if you've watched my channel before, you've heard me give examples, but I'll just give a few. We're talking about golf simulators, massage chairs, kitchen appliances, saunas, fitness equipment. Those are just a handful of really bad niches that to this day, as much as it shocks me, people still approach me, asking if these are good, solid niches. I still have people that will buy my program and they will tell me that this is the niche that their previous program told them to go with. And I'll just kind of take this opportunity to say, when you're evaluating online programs for high ticket dropshipping or any business model in general, I would say do your best to try and sift through the BS and don't get sucked into the fact that they have a lot of followers on YouTube or that they have a way higher video production quality than a channel like this. High quality production and a high social following doesn't automatically mean that this is a good program to follow. And I'm not going to name any names, but if you're in the high ticket space, you probably know who I'm talking about. I've had a lot of people that have come from another particular program that is really, really overpriced in the high ticket dropshipping space that tell me all they do is recommend these generic cookie cutter niches to all of their students, even though they're charging an arm and a leg for their problem or for their program. It's also a problem. That wasn't even intentional. Just to find that they're not seeing the results that their instructor promised them. And not only that, they never actually get to interact with the instructor of that program. It's this team of hired people that are barely available, but let alone you don't ever even get to speak with the instructor of the program. And they're recommending things like saunas and massage chairs and kitchen appliances, and they're charging $2,000 plus for this really, really shitty advice, frankly. So this is all to say, if you're choosing a niche like this, you're not going to find success in high ticket dropshipping. There are way smarter ways to choose a niche that you want to get into. If you're choosing an industry or you're choosing a niche that has lots of competition, that has thousands, tens of thousands of other people also trying to do the same thing, it's going to be way harder to make a lot of money in it from both a paid ads perspective and an SEO perspective. But as we teach in our program, as I do for my own businesses and the businesses that I build for other people, there's a way smarter, data-driven approach to doing this. And there are really two things that I look at, and that is search volume and keyword difficulty. And I should say a third, and maybe the third is the biggest one, is it need-based versus want-based? Meaning, is this a product that somebody needs versus is this a product that somebody wants to buy? And especially in situations where we're looking at a potential recession, regardless of the economic outlook or situation, need-based products are always going to be easier to sell, especially if you present them well, than want-based products. And you're going to make a hell of a lot more money selling need-based products that have low competition, i.e. low keyword difficulty that we can literally just look at in SEMrush, and higher search volume. It's really not rocket science. It's just a matter of taking the time to do this research and not just listening to someone with really bad advice. So this is kind of a long-winded way of saying the barrier of entry for high-ticket dropshipping is high, and that it's a difficult business model to be successful in. And a lot of people that get started in it, even if they go through the steps of building a website, getting suppliers, all that stuff, the vast majority end up giving up after a couple of months, which for the long term makes the competition level extremely low. And when you have a proper framework to follow, when you have a smart approach to the industry that you're choosing, and you have quality brands to partner with, your chances of success go up astronomically. And so that's what makes high ticket dropshipping so powerful. It's really hard to do, but if you have a somewhat reliable framework to follow, you have a really high chance of making a lot of money online. So I'm going to end that there. If you have questions, let me know in the comments. If you have suggestions for other videos, let me know in the comments. Subscribe for the most honest and objective high-ticket dropshipping content that you will find on YouTube. And if you are someone that is serious about high-ticket dropshipping, check out my program. The link is in the description below. We will see you guys in the next one.